recording. Okay, we're recording. I kind of caught Duncan by surprise. It's Rodney, right? As you all know, your CT 111 instructor right now. I'm interviewing Duncan Brown at a job site. He is the superintendent of, Duncan works for, it's not Allen Associates anymore.
Allen Construction. We rebranded.
Allen Construction. It used to be Allen Associates. Is Dennis even...
He is still on the board.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. I like Dennis a lot. So anyway, Duncan has been doing this a while, and he's building this incredible house, and they're at a stage which we're going to go down and show you, but he's trying to get the thing out of the dirt right now.
I'll show you.
Oh, we got some content.
Rendering.
This is what we're going to show you a little bit more of that, but right now, and I'm going to zoom on it right now. Zoom in. Look at that. That's. So when we go down there, we're going to be looking at the pool area a lot. But just, and we're up here. Yeah, up there. Okay. So Dunk, let's back up here and please tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into this business? I'm sorry, talking to the microphone.
Right. So I started out wanting to be an architect in middle school, and I studied drafting and architecture and such up through first year of college, and I just kind of burnt out and wasn't really into being behind a desk, so I got a job in construction to see what it was that it took to build what I was thinking I was designing, and the rest is history.
Well, what else did you? So you said you had 1 year college, and then you decided.
Well, I stopped architecture because I was burnt out. I took fine arts to get more of a creative edge, and found out that I was more of a sculptor than I was an architect.
Yeah.
You know, so at heart I'm an artist, but I love creating things. So that brought me into construction. Plus, I had to, work my way through college. So that was an easy way. Started out digging ditches. Did that for 3 hours, and the guy I was working for said, "Wow, if you can dig a ditch that well, I got another job for you." So he put me on finish work almost immediately, and. So I helped him scribe in 1x6 siding into brick chimney and such like that, and just took off from there. So I've always liked the finer, more detailed aspect of construction. And actually I worked with Rodney back in the 70s and 80s. We did some amazing projects. And, it's either sink or swim, and we swam.
Do you remember the Pacentes?
The Pacentes.
Yeah, the curved staircase, the curved handrail.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I do. Yeah, as I said, sink or swim, and we swam.
Yeah, we had some really, really challenging projects.
Yeah,
super challenging. Stuff we'd never done before, but we knew we could do it, right?
That's it.
We had the tooling, and whatever we didn't have, we'd buy. I hope this is picking me up. But so you worked for other people, right, for a while, and then when did you kind of get? So you worked for me we were working together for 5 years at least.
Yeah, 5 to 6 years.
10, 5, 6, 7 years.
And then off and on after that.
Right.
So I started my own cabinet shop, and that was my first break off from working from anybody. I had 3 really good mentors, Rodney being one of them, Jeff Thompson another, and then another, who was it? At any rate. So I really got to know ground up, from foundation to framing to finish. I always liked finish more because it was the finished product, and I liked the intricacy of it. So I opened up my own shop and got my own license, and from there got a contractor's license and did remodeling and actually ended up doing some design builds myself. So I brought my architecture background back into it. And then I finally decided that I wasn't much of a businessman. You know, did great work, but never really made much money. So I went to work for somebody else, and that way I could leave the finances and everything else. The aspects of building that I don't really enjoy.
So is this when you went to work for Alan? Right?
Actually, I first started working for a company up north, American Home Builders, and I was a supervisor for apartment complexes. We'd go into 5 to 6 acre lots, brush it out, 16 buildings, average of 170 units, and in a year and a half, we'd be turning them over. In fact, we turned them over as we built. So we'd build the clubhouse first, and that would be the sales team, and as soon as we finished a building, they'd be renting it out. So they'd be right behind us doing that. So I did that for about 4 years. And then did mid-rise condos in Seattle, which was very challenging and rewarding. And then, 08, 09 hit, out of work, along with 2,300 other superintendents. And
from the same company or just?
No, in Washington State. But got a call from an old buddy of mine, builder, Randy Eskelson, and he was doing a turn of the century New England farmhouse off Toledo Road. And he said, you're not working, I could use your help. And so that brought me back down to Santa Barbara. And after finishing that house with him, he's kind of a one-off type thing, so I needed to keep working. So I looked for the best 3 companies in Santa Barbara, and Allen Construction was, won out. So I've been working for them since January 13.
January, so
2013.
8 years. 8 years now.
Yeah.
8 years, and then did you go right in and get a job from them? Did they hire you right away?
Funnily enough, I was really hungry, so I said, look, I'll do carpentry, I'll do anything. And they said, no, we don't have anything yet, but we'll give you a call. Well, 2 days later, they said, hey, can you start working? And they gave me a project that was a remodel, a very fast turnover, very loosely designed and detailed turnover, and I did that turnkey. So I was the project manager, the superintendent, and the carpenter. But so that was my, trial by fire, shall we say, with the company. And right after that, they gave me an estate in Buellton, which was nice, a three building retirement home for a couple that it was a Bhutanese design by Tom Oshner, and beautiful building, beautiful.
I love Tom
yeah.
He's
So
one of my favorite guys.
he's one of the better architects in town.
He's great. Oh God, I got some stories about him, but anyway, I have stories about everyone. So then what? I mean, how'd that come out?
That came out great. It was easy. 10 acres. We were, centralized on the lot. Plenty of access. I mean, plenty of access. So that took just over a year and a half. I think it was a year and 9 months. And from then, they actually understood the depth of my experience.
What you could do, the potential. It was there for Mr. Brown as an employee, you guys more than employees now?
We are an employee-owned company.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're having skin in the game besides you. And then did you just graduate to larger and larger and more complex projects, because we're going to get into this project, but this is pretty big and pretty darn complex. It seems like apex type stuff, really, to me.
Yeah. So, yes, I did. Once they saw what I could do, at the same time I was finishing up the Patterson project, the Omarosa wine tasting room came up. And since I was within proximity to that, they had me run that along with finishing up the Patterson project. From there, the owner, or to-be owner, of Omarosa, who took over for Sanford, he was building a house on Franceschi Road. Almost as complex as this, but not quite. Logistically, it was easier because there was more space.
The site was not steep, right?
It was on the ridge, so it was steep, but there was easier access. I had room to go around the house.
Yeah, but it's not as steep there.
No, not as steep as this.
This is very steep.
Yeah. So, and then finishing that, they put me on this because I knew what I was, I had experience with hillside foundations and structural steel.
Yeah, and isn't this sort of a Tuscan sort of Italian?
I would call it that. Yes, yeah, I would call
Italian,
it Tuscany
villa type thing.
Right, exactly.
Right. Spanish type tile or two-piece tile and stucco and all those things. You
stone columns, a lot of stone floor
Let's see
veneers.
this again. Let's see this one more time. So this, I want you to take a good look at this, because you're going to see. We're going to take you down to the site, and we are going to show you what's happening and describe how this thing is going to wind up on this site. But that's a rendition. That's an architect's or artist's rendition.
So if you notice, the outside living space, which is almost as much square footage as inside, cantilevers over all the other floors. So that would be better. So it's as far as the, I've got a sketch of what the. No, I got it here. This is the excavation, what we've had to do in the hillside. This is the driveway coming down.
Which we'll walk down soon. And
then this is the main level, lower level, and pool deck level.
So that's the main cuts, and that's how the topography of the existing land is about to be cut and then retained and then built upon, right?
Right. So obviously we have to build bottom up because the building envelope is tight to the edges. There's no access around the outside of the house.
None?
So I've had none.
Zero access?
Zero.
The house comes all the way out to the lot lines.
Not lot lines. The building envelope that we can't go outside of is within a foot or two of our building. It's crazy. I had to get special permission to get a 5-foot variance so that I could actually plaster this with scaffolding.
Wow.
I mean, I had to ask permission to be outside the building envelope for that. But consequently, I had to make a ramp down the middle, and we're going to build bottom up. And as we do the walls, we can backfill. You can see how little space we have for any equipment. So we can't cut that until we've moved the ramp 2 or 3 times and taken it out from level to level and on up. Yeah. And you'll see that'll be evident when we go down the site.
So let's walk over and look at the plans. Those are right here. And I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I think I'm close enough to Duncan's mic that you can hear me. And I think what I'm going to do is handhold this. And I have this horrible tendency to put my finger over the lens. I'm not going to do it today. No, I'm not. Okay, here we go. Good. So here's the plans.
So this is the pool level guest house. These are the size. This is the retaining wall, which is 12.5 feet tall. and that's the size of the footings are 10 feet, 3 behind, 7 in front.
How deep?
2 feet deep, but it's solid bedrock. This whole level is, in fact, all the levels are pretty much solid bedrock. So you'll see out of all this, and there's some things I did away with some of the cuts because it just didn't give us enough room to get equipment around. So I put caissons under these I-beams instead of these huge footings, which would have been 5.5 feet
so
in the ground.
So the caissons eliminated the giant footings.
Correct.
Cool, man. So did you come up with that?
I did.
Dude.
Yeah. As well as getting the embed for all the caissons, their depths reduced because of the field conditions of the soil and the bedrock.
Right.
This is all the steel that goes in, so this is a framing plan. And then this is the next level. This is the back of that. See, so these.
This is just a guest house?
No, this is the next level up.
Okay, this is the next level up. So this is the main house.
This is the lower level of the main house,
Right.
correct.